Now, the St John's literacy group were asked to look at moderating writing for S1 right through to S2. So we started looking at what core skills need to be covered at each of the stages. That was quite a difficult part because when we looked at what was covered already in the schools, there was a lot of overlapping, and sometimes we felt that too much was covered in the early stages and they weren't really ready for that. So we had to break down what we thought was appropriate for Primary 1, Primary 2, Primary 3, and we made up a grid showing the core skills to be introduced at each stage, and the core skills then to be covered at each stage, and when they're to be assessed. So for example, if it was spelling, we would start off with Primary 1, that would be the initial blends, and then as it moved through to middle stages, they were looking at the Dolch list, and it was expected, I think, by the end of Primary 4, that all children would have a sound knowledge of all the 100 most common words, which would then give them the tools to have good core skills in their writing. And that's what we've done through all punctuation and grammar, spelling and handwriting as well. One of the benefits of actually working together with all the primary schools from the cluster and a secondary teacher is that we all could contribute to it, and there was a common language that everyone could understand. When we were looking at the VCOP pyramid, we agreed which one we were going to look at, and then we had a standard for connectives, openers and punctuation for everyone to use. The same with the Dolch spelling list, that there was one common list that people were able to refer to, and we felt that was quite a good tool as well. The next stage was to try and provide teachers and children a tool for measuring assessment in writing. Now, we wanted first of all to take what we learned about the core skills and bring that into the levels, and we wanted to provide a continuous small step progression right from level 1 right through to the end of level 2, and then hopefully extend that to early stage and into secondary 1 and 2. Now, the grids are broken down into several types of writing. There's imaginative writing, personal writing, and 3 types of functional writing: instructions, report writing, and letter writing. And we thought that would provide teachers with a real tool of what type of writing they're assessing. Within the grids, there's a grid for level 1 and there's a grid for level 2. It's then broken down into level 1 developing, level 1 consolidating, and level 1 secure, and then it moves into second level. Within each of these, there's the small steps of progression, showing, for example, in level 1, it will tell you what level of VCOP to look at, and maybe you're looking for 2 pieces or 2 connectives in level 1, and then when it goes on to secure, we'd be looking for 3 connectives in level 1, and then when it goes on to secure, we'd be looking for 3 in level 3, so it builds up the progression. It also provides a tool for the children. A lot of them have found it much easier to assess their own writing now because they have a clear benchmark of where they are within the levels, and they can see what they need to improve on. This seems to be feedback we're getting from the children. I've used it with Primary 6, Primary 5, 6 and Primary 4, 5, and they've all said that now they actually can see where they lie in the levels and how they can improve, and I think that's an essential tool. So we hope now that we get some feedback on how useful the grids are in terms of assessment, and that the children, we can then make them more child friendly as well. Thank you.
We initially felt as part of a cluster we had to decide how many pieces of writing to summatively assess each year. We decided on 6, 2 personal, 2 functional and 2 imaginative. Then it was thought that we needed a shared recording format. Secondary teachers felt it would be useful to have some kind of overview of where children are at each year with regards to their writing. We have produced a class overview that lets teachers see at a glance where the children are. We've also included an individual pupil version that allows the teachers to write the next steps and track the progress of the children each year.
Before we had the grids, we had good writing, but we couldn't assess ourselves, and then now we'll have the grids. We don't have to wait like Mrs. Reaper to assess us to see when we have good marks or anything. I find the grids helpful because before you didn't know what to do, and then now you look at it and then you write what you need to do, and then you can look at the pyramids to see the connectives and the vocabulary.
Grids are cool now. We love school.
St John's Maths Department and teaching staff from Cluster Primaries initially met to discuss gaps and discrepancies in key skills for numeracy. It was agreed that the purpose of the project was to address these so-called discrepancies in the key skills which pupils have attained by the end of Primary 7 and the skills required for commencing core work in S1. The group met on a weekly basis and began by breaking down the experiences and outcomes into the key skills under the different organisers within Curriculum for Excellence. We worked initially from the second level, and we felt it was important to also look at first and early level to ensure progression throughout the levels. The key skills were then further broken down into I can statements to allow teachers to gain a better understanding of this progression within the levels and ensure skills are being taught in depth. We felt the breakdown into consolidating, developing and secure enabled the teacher to assess each individual learner at a given point in time to identify next steps. These next steps can be used to inform future planning, reporting to parents and ensure pupils are also more engaged in their learning and are able to identify their next steps. The St John's Cluster Numeracy Group produced documents from early to second level covering key areas of maths which show progression throughout these levels. Each level was broken down into key skills to allow class teachers to moderate within the different areas of numeracy. Class teachers were able to then identify whether a child was developing, consolidating or secure within a given level and area of maths. Some children have had the opportunity to work with the assessment grids. This has helped them have a better understanding of where they are within a particular level and what they need to learn to move on.
The reason why I liked doing this because it's like you get to mark your own work. I would like to recommend this for other boys and girls. It's really fun because you get to check back your own work and you know what you know.
I think it was tricky because there were some words I don't understand and it would be good if they were changed.
I like it. I would want to do it again because I felt like a grown-up when I was doing it.
The documents produced to give more consistency across the cluster. These documents will develop the confidence in teachers' judgments when assessing key skills within the experiences and outcomes. Our next steps will be to provide a more child-friendly document for the learners to use more independently, and also to create an overview for transition from year to year and from primary to secondary school.